Thanks, Jody. Good morning. Vancouver Police have issued a warning to drug users after an increase in overdoses in the city last night, and it's believed there is a suspected link to fentanyl. Greg Harper is at VPD headquarters this morning with the details. Greg.
Good morning, Kyle. Well, there has been a spike of overdoses in the city of Vancouver, and these overdoses happened yesterday. And Vancouver Police believe that these are connected to a tainted batch of heroin containing fentanyl, which is a very potent painkiller. There were 6 overdoses in just 1 hour yesterday, from 7:30 to 8:30 last night, and there were 10 more overdoses throughout the day. Investigators say all of the ingested drugs were pink in color. The toxic substance in those drugs is yet to be determined, but again, police believe it may be fentanyl. Investigators are reminding users to exercise extreme caution when taking non-regulated narcotics. The good news here is that no one passed away from taking the tainted heroin, but others have taken fentanyl recently in Metro Vancouver. Kyle?
Greg Harper live at Vancouver Police headquarters this morning. Thanks for that, Greg. Speaking of Vancouver Police, they are searching for a suspect after a fatal stabbing on the downtown east side. It happened on Saturday night at Hastings and Main Streets. A 47-year-old man was attacked and was taken to hospital with serious injuries, where he later died. The man was known to police, and officers say it appears to have been a targeted attack. Anyone who saw what happened is asked to come forward and speak with investigators. Well, it has been another incredibly busy weekend for North Shore Rescue, with people running into trouble on our local mountains. Last night, the Emergency Coordination Center was activated for a hiker in distress near the summit of Crown Mountain. A pair became stranded on a steep slope, and one of them began to experience debilitating leg spasms. Help was called in when one friend realized they couldn't carry the other. North Shore Rescue says it had very little time to activate the helicopter before dark, so the two were very lucky that crews could get to them on time. The team was also involved in 2 separate missions on Saturday. A 2-year-old boy was rushed to hospital after falling out of a 2nd-story window in Surrey. This happened yesterday morning at a home on Kilmore Court, which is near 156th Street and 56th Avenue. Police say the toddler was reaching for an item, leaned on a screen that popped out, and he fell to the deck below. He didn't suffer any serious injuries, but was taken to hospital as a precaution. A Vancouver homeowner is speaking out after he was accused of letting his house fall into disrepair and become an illegal dump. This is what the house at East 49th Avenue in Dumfries looked like last week. The property was becoming a magnet for late-night garbage dumps. Neighbors complained, saying it was attracting rodents to the area. Well, this is what it looks like now. Bit better. The city cleaned things up. Debris was reaching the curb, but says the rest of this mess is up to the property owner. As you can see, most of that garbage has been removed, but the owner says people are still coming by at night when he's not there.
I'm very frustrated. This is not the first time. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time we did clean our yard, and people keep pouring inside, even that they took this fence out, all the blocks has been taken away.
A man is in hospital in critical condition this morning after being shot by police in Ferguson, Missouri last night. It happened during a protest marking the 1-year anniversary of the police shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown. Investigators say the man, who was not connected to the demonstration, opened fire on 4 officers inside a police van, and those officers returned fire. The shooting happened shortly after 2 groups exchanged gunfire in the streets, sending protesters running for cover. After a 7-week break, Mike Duffy's fraud, bribery, and breach of trust trial is set to continue in Ottawa this week. The former Tory senator has pleaded not guilty to 31 charges, and some key testimony is expected during this week's proceedings from Nigel Wright. He is the former chief of staff for Stephen Harper. The Conservative leader has denied any advance knowledge of a $90,000 check Wright signed in order to cover Mike Duffy's disallowed housing and travel expense claims. The testimony comes as week 2 of the federal election campaign gets underway. And the election campaign train rolled into Metro Vancouver over the weekend. NDP leader Thomas Mulcair held a rally in the downtown core yesterday. He hammered Conservative leader Stephen Harper's job creation record and appealed directly to Vancouverites, promising better transit, affordable housing, and childcare. A Main Street post-media telephone poll was taken just after Thursday's Maclean's National Leaders debate. It reveals that of the 4 main leaders, British Columbians expect Mulcair will win the October election.
Our childcare plan is to create, I think the figure for the Greater Vancouver area is more than 50,000 spaces, quality childcare spaces at maximum $15 a day. That's very specific. And we're going to be working with the provinces